Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 12 of Illium, our modded Cities 1 build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Last episode, our fantastic Bridgeside Stadium settled in very nicely along the coast, and I've also since rotated it 180 degrees, so people now merge onto the quays rather than the road, which I think was definitely the right thing to do here. However, in today's episode, we're heading back up the highway to the opposite side of the couplet system from the marina a few episodes ago, to help us hit our next population milestone, so indeed we can unlock the tile boundaries, so we can begin to plan our downtown space. Really nice hillside setting here, so I think luxury hillside suburbia is the way to go. Definitely an upper market, lower density suburb here. Of course, we'll one day look over the downtown. Welcome back to Illium, everyone. A happy Monday to you all. So first of all, we need to address the roads here. Now we're on National Highway, and these little roundabouts that Teddy installed have been working quite nicely so far, so I think we'll stick with them until they stop working. I imagine possibly some lane upgrades at some point. But let's break this couplet system in a few places and give ourselves a few entrances into this new suburb here. We're also going to name today's district Plymouth Slopes after a wonderful Tier 2 patron, Dan Plymouth. Thank you for your support, Dan. And a wonderful suburb in honour of your good self. So just set up these roundabouts here in a little time lapse there. Just variants of what Teddy already has pretty much all across the map. It's not the first time we'll see these, they're pretty much everywhere. We'll probably amend this one. But otherwise, these couple of roundabouts are working pretty nicely so far. It's kind of like a highway version of Orchid Bay, really, isn't it? Is really what it is. So we'll make this suburb the mid-century modern stuff. Most luxury housing alongside Green City. It's probably a great content creator pack. You get some nice assets with it as well. And I think here, again, kind of respecting this copper system like we have with all these quite big bits of infrastructure down this way. I'd also like to continue that vibe here. So I think to start things off, we will give the rich of Illium a road here that holds a supermarket. So I think it has to be one of King Lenovo's, doesn't it? This will be the large grocery store. Let's place this and see what we think. Of course, the orientation of the signage is pretty important to me. I think I'm going to have it facing this way, with the signage basically facing out onto what would be the car park here. Then have our more kind of industrial delivery detailing around the back. And which means if I'm going to have it facing that way, I don't actually need the road behind, so we can take that out entirely. I would like to respect the other edges of the building, so from this way we'll hold it. And then bring up this non-parking road. Something like that. Now we've also got like a little bit of texture work here, haven't we? So I think bit of pedestrian, almost sort of hangout eating space. Yeah, might be quite nice. And then we'll also bring that up with the back road that can come toward the back of the supermarket, where we'll flash out a bunch of industrial delivery detail in here by the road. Just so we can respect what's already on the building. This road will come down from somewhere, probably here. And we'll just connect it in where it makes sense. Of course, while we're playing with the supermarket, quite a bit of car parking's an appropriate aesthetic here. I think we'll run it this orientation, I think. We'll have another road 4 tiles away. Super. And I'll probably do 2 of these. We could also do one here. Might be veering on possibly too much though. I'm not sure. I also think a palm line for some reason. You know, when you just get those little moments of vision. And you can see something for no particular reason. I just think a little row of California palms between supermarket and highway here would probably be quite nice. We run that all the way down this bit of the highway, actually back to that roundabout. Yeah. Don't know why. The palms really complete that, don't they? Okay, and then we'll get our big supermarket aesthetic out here. If we're definitely having a bit of a town centre here, I also wouldn't mind clustering the rest of the buildings around this place before we start bringing in some residential, which we will begin to zone. We'll have it on the main street. I do need a bit more road, actually. Regardless, we'll still have some here while it grows in so we can see people arriving. Might also bring another smaller mall into this. I do have an eventual mall build planned for this area as a bit of a medium density downtown build, using a fusion of King Leno's larger assets, so we don't want to use them here so close again. I think this might be a good shout for us to use the mall of moderation, of course respecting where car parking actually appears. Then if we can just have some shopping services, maybe a bit of cricket here as well. I think a bit of cricket might go down quite nicely. And then all this space can be built into our detailing as well, alongside this road, which also has to come down for it to make sense. We'll do that there. I suppose I wouldn't mind another entrance into this, I guess what is quickly becoming a bit of a retail park, isn't it? Definitely want lots of green belt. Let's get some pictures in here. We'll come back to peanut stuff. And let's have our pitch here. This should be in such an arrangement where we can have this connected almost in the middle of this little green space here. That's about as close as we can get it, I think, isn't it? Okay, we'll have that there. Then we'll place a bunch of shops and commercial around here. Probably some of King Leno's shopping mall zoning would probably go quite nicely, actually. Just going to draw these across. There we go. And then likewise, this can probably also come down as well. A few different ways in and out for them. That'll fill that space quite nicely there. We'll also have all our services around here. Medical, you probably won't need. There's quite a lot of medical around here already. Yeah, I'll probably hold off on medical. We will give them fire though. I'll give them the nicest of the assets, for which I think Countryside Fire Department fits that criteria. And then for our police, probably also use the Countryside one again as well. Probably in tandem with each other. Quite similar looking assets, aren't they? Possibly almost a fusing to be had here as well. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Maybe a private car park behind these buildings for the police. Something rotated just slightly off of the road. A nice little custom service block here for them. Yeah. And then we can just box off that little area there. Maybe with a little bit of fencing too, right? Just as a slightly smaller, more subtle way to highlight these service buildings. Use some nodes for it. Let's do suburban fence. Don't want anything that's too industrial looking, you know. And then we'll just run that down there. And then we can let some more commercial or residential exist here. Maybe some more residential. I don't want tons of commercial if there's massive malls here. Not zoning on the entrance road here either. At schools, how are we doing? Higher schools definitely needed. University, absolutely not. Of course. And elementary, I guess, is halfway through, but these guys are going to want elementary education anyway. But before we put those schools in, either way, let's just expand a bit of a residential road network to float these slopes. The terrain is a little bit insane. Obviously not going to come up here, because that would be mad. But I think certainly where we're getting this lighter shade of green, this can be softened into more residential. I think I'll probably use that as our boundary, actually. That's about as high as we'll go. But to reinforce the point that we mentioned at the start of the episode, there will one day be, for people living, say, on this particular plot, have amazing views of Illium. The downtown, of course, will be here one day, alongside views back to everything we've built over the last few episodes. So pretty incredible place to live in Pluma Slopes. But let's give it some road networks. This gives us some nice basic residential frames. And just like Green City's, mid-century modern zones in pretty well. I'm not too bothered about plopping anything here. Maybe on some of the major roads around the junctions, but otherwise it's fairly zonable. So we won't do it all in one go, of course, to help avoid massive death wave influxes when they do eventually arrive. And we'll stick the occasional park. Use some of these tourism ones as well. In various different corners, just to help encourage people to live here. So they come up and enjoy the sights. I'd also like to build in a little hilltop park to savour this view. Maybe this is a bit too tall. Maybe this one here we can get something in. Yeah, this is a pretty good view, isn't it? Yeah. For those people coming in, we earlier mentioned education. And for which we will need elementary for these guys living over here. And it is dwindling anyway. By the time the build's finished, we'll probably need it. So let's bring in a school campus combo. We'll have a high school. And would I use the high capacity elementary here? Again, we are in our transition to medium density heading this direction. Buildings definitely go together. Not too dissimilar, are they? Lots of bold colours, etc. So let's see if we can find a positioning for these right in this little space, I think, by the highway road. So we'll have our school here again. Orientation is proving to be quite important in today's build. Let's have this building there. We'll worry about roads in a second. I really want these two sat together properly first. Is there a way we can almost angle the buildings together on a corner like that? Doesn't interfere too much at the back. We also just place these buildings back to back, kind of similar to what we did up in ASUS Hills actually, just for referencing some further school inspiration. These also work very nicely just back to back together with an alleyway between them. Don't always have to fuse them, but there's another little pop of medium density already in that skyline. It's quite welcome, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'll go with that one then, just because it's the taller building. The wall at the back, I'll likely key wall, I think, just because it is quite a significant terrain layer to navigate. I'll bring this one in, and then we'll just go a little curved tree road and tuck that into the corner. I'll probably allow access to the school campus over here as well. I also want a pitch for the school. We'll do one of Peanut's football pitches, I think. throw that there. We will move it though. Down to about there. And then we can just have this little road run. There's a little frontage that gradually comes uphill here. Cool. And then we can tuck this in. Find a happy angle for it where it joins the concrete of the school next door. Then we can also bring in that retaining wall now as well. For which I will use Network Multi-Tool to do this one. Let's go with the city key, I think. I think that's what I want. And then we'll run this parallel from here to here, I think. I want it pretty much flush with the road as well. That seems about right. We'll hit enter there. And we're very much going down the kind of luxury palm route here, aren't we? So, I think California Shore is in order for the key. Super. We'll push all that terrain back. Let's also provide some car parking as well for our little school district here. And just the old 45-degree rotation next to the road. Again, which you can do this in vanilla as well. You just have to draw the road in the middle first, then delete it. They will actually remain connected. Nice way of getting some slightly different angles in your car parking infrastructure, I think. Now I could even duplicate this. Could have more. Of course, I'll tie it together with actual placeable concrete space. Detailing, I think maybe some oaks between here as well, just to shelter perhaps any cars from crashing in here. Little oak line by the school just to protect it. Probably calls for some fencing as well, actually, maybe here. But another little homage to some nice viewpoints that are developing around this national road. I think this will make a really interesting first-person tour one day once everything's built all alongside it. To basically follow this all the way through the city. Because it continues to wind through some really interesting terrain here. This area won't be downtown, it's probably too hilly. But let me know what you think should line the hills here, because I don't particularly have anything planned for this area. And it is close to downtown as well, so let me know what you think about that one. I'm happy with how this is growing. Down Main Street on the approach into the mall. I'm more than happy for some commercial to grow up here. Vanilla will be fine. We'll pick and choose our assets if we want anything in particular. I feel like we've definitely got room for another building here. Possibly a unique. I think I'm actually feeling a little Japanese office and plaza combo here. Again, I want to bring the road down so it sits its frontage against this national network. And then we'll use the district office building. I think. Do I want this here? I think facing onto the road's actually the wrong call. Maybe we'll stick some parking behind it. It sits and fits there, doesn't it? So, yeah, those are the rules. And then I think the little Railroad of Japan plaza will work quite nicely. Just a small one. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. But the two Japanese packs really work in tandem there, don't they? What a great combination that is. That's so simple as well. Never come across that before. Railroad of Japan Plaza with modern Japan building. There we go. I like that. I think I'll repeat the same thing at the back side as well, but with the larger one. So we'll have this here. So essentially just functioning as an office building, right? And the doors aren't aligned on the back, but I don't really mind that, to be honest. I'll just have this here. And then we'll bring that road down. Also turn off node snapping here as well. I'll have this. Are we okay here? What's going on? Why do we have weird segments? There you go. That was fine. And then I suppose I'll also use Japanese car parking. Kind of makes sense, I think, here now, doesn't it? And then basically just fill in all the space around the office. Some more opportunity for detail around here again as well, if I can control my surface paints and everyone. Oh my god. It's getting out of control. There we go. That's what we want. That's what we want. Perfect. And maybe some slightly more exotic looking trees here. Maybe we can even bring a bit of China into the mix as well with the windmill palm. Not a tree we see very often at all. On this channel at least. Not big pine, it's too much. And we'll have a large palm here as well. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted. Just like a larger space, not super commercial focus, but just a little office building. To fill that corner there. I'm going to be on board with that, I think. Commercials coming in. Most of this stuff is fine. Yeah, just general small shop stuff is good. Be happy with that. Could also just... yeah, I think I probably will force a quick historical for everyone that's in here. Also get a bit more residential in as well. It's got a pretty vast suburb. I imagine it'll probably continue over the tower boundary as well. We'll just keep this sprawling, outer-lying, low-density endlessness going, if you like. Let's zone up another block here. Get most of this stuff on the hills, at least. That's where I want to see them first, I think. And now there's going to be a fair amount of terrain jack here. But our forest brush will hide most of it. I'll have to get very close beneath the canopy to actually see it, I think. Such as there. As I say that. It's quite noticeable, isn't it? Obviously here. I'm going to trim them back then in that case. Just so they're not 4 deep. Should make that a little bit easier. And then I'm also going to do the same with this bottom row as well. Just where it's very tight. And then just let them regrow as a 3. Let's turn our attention up to that Hilltop Park. Again, I'd probably like another residential road that runs this direction. Let's turn our nose snapping back on here as well. We'll also have it pretty switchbacky. There can be a few residences here. And then I'd like to move immediately to small park main gate, which will sit right at the end of this road. I'll have this up here. You can have that quite far from the road as well, which I think I'm going to do because I've got quite a nice little design for this gate in mind. And we'll push this park area up and name it appropriately, of course. And I think we'll place a park plaza at the top, which will look pretty awful. Imagine that's it. That's the Hilltop Park, everyone. We'll give it a road, of course, or a pathway. And I'll probably use trees, I think, to just demarcate this park rather than fencing. But little switchbacky pathways up the hill. Probably need a touch of sloping. I reckon I'd probably bring this down as well a bit. Maybe to about here. Position it somewhere where I like it. I don't mind the little diamond angle actually. Maybe position it like this instead. Yeah, something like that would be quite good. And then let's get all this path network hooked in around it. And then I'll also use Network Multi-Tool just to correct that gradient as well. Wasn't too far off actually. And a little bit of soften, just to take the sting out of this stuff. And then we can really expand this little hilltop facility here. It won't be a massive park, pretty similar to what we had in ASUS, like I said. Just a little viewpoint, some benches, maybe a little toilet as well. And this can also become Plymouth Viewpoint, of course, with it being in the town of Plymouth. Or the suburb at least. And then with a little 2x2 concrete brush, we'll detail up just a little park entrance here. Just to come in. We'll have, I think, some roadies on a line tool as well. Come down to a little refill here. Let's mark that out. I think once we got all our residential in here, our mid-century modern stuff, this will be a really nice little simple park approach. Might even detail the front of the gate here as well. Where we've got some nicer park spaces, a couple of benches maybe. A bin. And statue of Jerry Senior. Always. Always a statue of Jerry Senior. Okay. But really cute way to integrate a park gate there. And we'll just have a bunch of very thick, dense Illium forest that essentially marks the edge of the park. Alongside those cliffs, very much where this forest will probably resume to join what's already here, right? We'll bring all that back in our detailing. Which I think feels like a pretty good point for. We've got a few spots to fill out around here, including the rest of our mall space. Some industrial detailing to do around here with the delivery. Alongside expanded cafe work I want to bring into these spaces by the pedestrian road. Now before we do that actually, I've just remembered, let me not forget to do this. Our pedestrian road here through the middle, I think I'd like to turn into bus. And then we'll feed a new line from our bus hub over here. And where's your best route? If I just send you over there, where do you go? Down the highway road, okay. Well, you don't need to stop here because there's loads of transit around there already. So just come straight into the suburb. You'll come this way. You might as well stop by the school, I suppose. And come... stop in here. And oh, we need more power, do we? Okay, that might be a bit of a problem. Then in terms of where this will go, I think I'm just going to send him down this main kind of treed collector road. Through this suburb. You can eventually stop down here, obviously going once the tile boundary opens, but for right now, I'm just going to loop it back. You can come and stop again the other side, before mirroring its way straight back to the area over here. Again, I'm going to keep on top of my bus lining because I've been very good this series. That is the Weissler to Plymouth service. And this doesn't need to be a massive one. Power. Power is out across the city, is it? Yes, it is. Okay. Is that a budget issue? No, we're actually over budget for power. We need another power station. Possible... I mean, I would say possible power station building coming, but I don't currently have the room for one. We are tight on tile boundary space, although we're about to unlock another tile anyway. So it shouldn't be too bad. Okay. I had these, didn't I? Yeah, so everyone look away again. There's still definitely not 3 temporary geothermal plants by the forest industry. These definitely aren't here. So don't worry about that. And maybe expect a power plant build in the next couple of weeks at least. It looks like it's probably needed now. Holy smokes. You guys alright? What's going on? You're just busy. Imagine a lot of this is an influx of new people with so much residential being zoned, because this road is usually okay. Yeah, this is definitely new people. Okay, that'll be temporary. Again, ignore that. And then let's finally get on with detailing up our brand new, luxurious hillside suburb, shall we? Alright guys, let's have a little detail review, shall we? So there's quite a few things to speak about here. First of all, I've changed the road network significantly, downgraded it, with the goal of reducing the speed of it. The traffic here was backing all the way up to the bridge with these high-speed roads, and then just downgraded it to the non-parking two-way road, which has helped tremendously, because now the AI is taking other alternative routes around the city, because they were all bottlenecking down here because they love the high-speed roads. Also added in some extra relief ramps, so not everyone's bottlenecking into this area, which is getting some nice flow as well. I've also just downgraded this road here from the high-speed road that was all the way down here, because again, same thing, they were just prioritizing it too much. But now it's slower, they're reading other ways in and out. Oh, this junction here is still fairly busy, but it is gradually clearing as the simulation continues to run much better than it was at least. Now, speaking of the buses, I've also added in a super bendy number, and they are still moving across the, well, staggering out across the line. And we can see we have pretty insane ridership here, 318. Over here we've got another 101. There was several hundred, and we're now using 100 capacity buses as well. So it's pretty wild, and there's only going to be more people living over here in the future as well. So we are going to plan metro in as part of our downtown road network, of course. And we do have a metro line here that doesn't go anywhere yet. But I think we probably will bring another metro line down as part of that downtown network episode. To support this couplet system that runs all the way through the map, because it's already super busy with buses. And as the tile boundaries open up around this mountain, it's only going to get busier. So expect metro over here at some point too, along with the buses. But either way, lots of roundabout detail with surface painter, rocks and whatnot, and some delivery work around the back of our supermarket. Crates, containers, a little bit of a swinging gate across the road as well with a water tower that was also needed. We also turned on another water treatment plant as well. Next to the supermarket, placed in some of the paved roads, or the paved planters rather, or the paved textures, whatever you want to call them. And then placed in some umbrellas, extensions of what we see already on the supermarket, with some bollards that also run out this way as well. Some light plaza work and detailing and paths behind the Mall of Moderation. And of course we placed our little office park in here on the corner, which also sits really nicely next to this little detailed roundabout here again now. I really love this couplet system, it's proven to be quite fun to build around. Of course it already came with the map, so it's helping to kind of structure the city as well. Through here, our parking, we also have some further behind building car parking here, with those natural little alleyways and just behind commercial spaces. There's shopping malls in here, a post office, fire, police, a little bit of shops of Shibuya is also present, emerging downtowns. A sauna and some death care as well as part of the main street. And then some University City. Especially in this corner, the little kind of rounded archways on the corner. I really like that. Super nice, that, isn't it? And so that was a lot of fun to put together. Back toward here we can get a sample of the buses, which are just absolute madness, aren't they? Are you not even emptying now? Are you full coming back out of the suburb? You are. Wow. Possibly the busiest buses we've ever had. I don't think I've ever seen a bus line like this before. In my cities, that is. I'm not claiming the busiest bus line ever. But these are extraordinarily busy. Probably, well, definitely will need metro in that downtown episode to help them. Be quite fun to see the before and after of that, actually, when we insert that metro. Yeah, either way, lots of shopping, cricket, and general good times to be had down in the Plymouth Slopes town centre. Our school campus sits on a little tree-lined road with some further car parking, pathwork and slight surfaces just to extend that walkable space behind the buildings. As it sits in a pretty awkward spot between kind of arterial and local suburb, really. But retaining more on a little pitch does wonders to help it settle in there, doesn't it? Helping keeping everyone around here educated. Eventually, of course, sending them to the nearby minor school of excellence we can see just over here. And then our big forested suburb is littered with parks and forest and sits quite proudly across this hill, doesn't it? And I envision, as I mentioned, once this tile boundary opens on both sides, I'm probably just going to keep this luxury suburb wrapped around these hills every time we need a little bit of a population expansion to hit a milestone. we can just keep coming back and expanding this luxury mid-century modern suburb. Because we've got a lot of room to expand here either side of the tiles. Better than, of course, the things we did in the episode with our little fused services here. So I like the suburb, how it sits on the hill. There's also a little childcare combination here on the corner as well. A bit of parking on a slight angle. Of course, providing reasons for the Sims to live here. And then up our residential roads, we'll get a sense of what we look like here. Some very fancy homes and very fast cars as well, it seems, right? And these guys, even on the road, let alone from the park, right? What a view to walk out on, especially this little table and chairs here. Right? You see the nightlife marina, ziggurat garden too. She just arrived home as well, wasn't that coincidence? I wonder if she took the bus. Maybe. So yeah, I just love this, right? Illium already looks massive, doesn't it? Like, this is only episode 12. The city's enormous. How much have we built? And then as we snake all the way up, we come across, of course, the statue of Jerry Sr. He was guarding our park gate for us, with little roadies, a couple of benches, as we then switch back up the hill. Of course, where there's more benches to stop and enjoy the view. Before arriving at the Hilltop Park, which is super simple, 3 assets, some concrete work around the edge of the cafe, with tables, bins, benches over here as well. To enjoy a pretty nice view, right? Especially when that downtown's in. This is going to be one of the best views in the city, I think. It's going to be quite a good views because we've also mentioned that several times as well, of course, from the views from the ziggurat garden too. Yeah. So I love it. A few nature reserve signs in here as well. Almost as warnings to say, you know, be careful, don't fall off a pretty sheer cliff edge into very overgrown forest. It'd be pretty painful, that, wouldn't it? I also used these elsewhere a few episodes ago, which I forgot to show you guys. It's over here in the marina. I'm obsessed with the nature reserve signs this series for some reason. But as you come over here, where the monorail comes quite low to ground, just because of the way the terrain shifts, I just left a few of them in, just to say that, you know, beware. Don't touch or climb on the monorail, or you'll lose your hands, etc. Something to that extent. And then there's lots more shoreline and interesting land to develop out here, especially as we come to this peninsula, which is a really interesting landscape. Again, give me some ideas of what you want to see here. Super interesting bit of land here for this map. We're not too far off kind of approaching this landscape now. As tile back, oh, that'll probably be a 25 tile, if not 81 tile project, I imagine, that sort of area. But ideas are welcome nonetheless. We'll also check in on the last episode. Ignore the recycling centres. We just needed garbage collection. As you can see, we're in desperate need of industry. I was going to do the downtown road network frame next episode, but we might need industrial first, to be honest. Either way, back at last episode's build, which we'll always check out, we have still lots of walkability on the quays and the ferries. Now the stadium's facing the front of the quay, of course. Loads of people moving around here. Watch a ferry turn up. Fantastic. There we go. Might be worth adding another vehicle to this line, you know. It does clear them, but it does back up again pretty quickly. I think we'll do that now, actually. Goes so quick. Let's give him 2 stops, I think. So that second ferry should make quite a bit of difference there. Super. That'll move even more through the metros without them backing up like that. Brilliant. And hopefully that's helping the other one as well, right? Yeah, these are flowing much smoother now. I know this one's got 4 ferries on it, but these were really backed up at one point. So I think there's more ways back and 2 across from them will help. Probably due another one, probably from the port here, across to the central station, which will lie around all these networks here. I can't wait to build this area. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Got a lot of fun ideas with the glassbox train station and the monorail there. But either way, a nice way to go ahead and hit our next milestone with a wonderful suburb of Plymouth Slopes. Hope you have enjoyed it. Not sure what we'll do next episode. The city really does need industry, but honestly we don't really have a ton of industrial theme space. We could always expand the forestry if needed, but we also need a power plant now as well. So we definitely need that industrial service to return at some point. Beyond that, an enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that support these videos, with a roll call to our golden patron eggs: Casino, Spartan Angel, Michael W, Bad Wolf, Phoenix MD, Blythe, Jamin, and Greatsy. If you'd like to help support the channel, best thing you can do is leave me a like below for free. And if you want to go a step further, links below to Patreon and Instant Gaming are always available. Enjoy the cinematics, and I'll shut up and leave it there. And thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.